Yo, what's up? This is Spuy and you're watching ESA.
From Pee-wee to the big guy, yes, we're back at it again. It is extreme sport action. A massive welcome to everybody. My name is Greg Maloney. I'm the voice of choice and your host for season 3. And a big welcome to everybody worldwide on our social media platforms. And please make sure you're checking out those social media platforms as well as our extremesportaction.co.za website. And every Friday night we come to you live on Vision View TV. Massive welcome to everybody. Let's kick things off though with the event results. Everybody thought the event was going to be kicked off with very cool and cold conditions at Red Star Raceway for round 4 of the Extreme Festival. But it was hot action on track and an absolutely perfect day's racing. It started with the GDCs seeing Brad Liebenberg in the Hype Energy and Team Red Racing Golf GTI 8 take his first victory, and he went on to do the double on the day as well and just cemented himself back up into the championship with Robert Volk in the Toyota Corolla. In the Global Touring Car Super Cup category, it was shared victories coming out of 2 stablemates. First victory going to Leighton Fourie and the second one going to Jeff Kruger after the inverted grid saw the two of them fighting very hard along with Keegan Campos and JP van der Walt at the front end of the field. Arnie Nevling was involved in the battle as well, and it turns out that championship is going to be one that goes right down to the wire. Further back in the GDC Super Cup category, the Masters side was taken by Nick Davidson after Team Perfect Circle's Andre Besaidnote unfortunately had to sit out with an injury to his hip. Leighton Fourie was then followed on by the two-wheel brigade on the Sunbet ZX10R Masters Cup. And once again, the man who was quickest down in Port Elizabeth only a couple of weekends ago, Jason Lamb, on his Tire Mart Kawasaki, went on to take a double victory and surprised everybody, including 2 of the local riders, Michael Smith, who set a new lap record, and Graham van Breda, the current champion in the category, with the pace that Lamb had found. The Cape Town contingent, who'd been so dominant so far this year, Dave Entercott and Ronald Slammett, unfortunately were found wanting on the day, and they've got some work to do heading into the next round in East London. Further back in the pack as well, we also saw some great action from Team Gazoo Racing's Yaris Cup, and fantastic to see all those media guys getting behind the wheel of the cars. Ashley Oldfield was quickest, but he was followed very closely by Thomas Faulkner. The Mobil 1 V8 Supercars also saw 2 debut victories for both Julian Familiaris and Warren Lombard. Familiaris in his Corvette from Dimatea Racing and Warren Lombard in the Pep Boys Automotive Ford Fairlane was an amazing victor for the very first time in Mobil 1 V8 Supercars, and certainly has now brought himself back up into the hunt for the front of this championship with both Franco Dimatea and championship leader Mackie Adlam. Lionel Janssen was the man who was to beat, and of course in the DOE Formula V's, it's a tough category to be involved in, where there were nearly 9 cars fighting for the lead, including Lionel Janssen and Lucian Ramchunda. As I said, Janssen took the double victory on the day, but Ramchunda took the lead of the championship in his Liqui Moly car and is definitely the man to watch out for in the very near future. But right on his tail, Gert Boertes, an amazing ride from him, Gert van der Berg, and then right on his tail is Peter Hills, and the two of them are on exactly the same points coming out of that championship. We're basically heading down into the East London Grand Prix circuit, the fastest track in the country and arguably one of the most picturesque motor circuits in the world. And that happens on the 5th of August. So make sure you check out all that action here on ESA as well as on the Extreme Festival page. Next up, we're going into some surf action. And of course, last week we spoke about the fact that we're going to wrap things up for the Duct Tape and Joel Tudor Tour for the longboard side of things. And it has been an amazing event. Not only do we see the surfers out in the water, but we get to see them up close and personal. And all those barriers are broken down for the very first time, where the general public can get up close and personal with their favorite surfers, their favorite musicians, and of course their favorite artists, who all combine into this event. It was such a good event. Let's go and have a look and see what happened down in Cape Town. success of that Vans duct tape tour. I think we need to be down there in person next time. I need a new stick to play on, there's no doubt about it. But I think it was a massive success, and we look forward to them heading now to the next round in August, and that happens in Huntington Beach in California. And it's part and parcel of the World Longboarding Championships World Tour. So we wish them all the very best there on the Vans and duct tape tour there. And it was amazing to see all those surfers getting together, as you could see, with the locals and getting that artistic side of things all sorted out. From here, we move on to, of course, an interview with our friend from Locally Whipped magazine, LW Mag's Ryan van der Spuy joined us after this. So join us for the interview right after the break. Our first guest for season 3 is somebody who's been around in the world of extreme sports for a long, long time. Not only as an athlete himself, but also as now the owner and editor-in-chief of LW Mag, originally known as Locally Whipped, but of course still known as Locally Whipped by a lot of the extreme sport athletes who've been involved with that magazine. And of course it's fantastic to have him here and being part and parcel of our season 3. And our first guest for the season, Ryan van der Spuy. Awesome to have you here, bud.
Greg, thanks for having me.
Dude, it's been 12 years since you sort of played around with the option of going online, but 2005 I think is when you started things out with what was originally known as Locally Whipped.
Yeah, so in 2005 we put a magazine together, print magazine. Obviously did very well with the core focus on extreme sports, music and lifestyle. And in 2010 we made the decision to go online. A bit early in those days for that space, but we were just found ourselves kind of stuck in a rut. We couldn't get more sales out, basically because the main corporates owned all the shelf space in the different shops and stuff. So it was kind of hard to print more magazines and actually get more sales. So we made the decision to go online then, and now 12 years later, still there and rocking it.
Rebranded to LW Mag as well?
Yeah, so it was just probably easier to have the website address as lwmag.co.za.
Awesome stuff, and of course it's all worked out well, because if you look at how things have gone, I mean, we look at it from our point of view on ESA, the online space is the place to be, and that's where you want your sponsors to get the best value and best leverage out of it. And of course you're not only involved with what's happening on a daily basis in terms of content, but there's big events and there's other issues that you got to bring into account when you're online.
Yeah, I mean, being online is, it's important. There's so much content that comes out all the time, and we are updating the site daily. So, it's there, it's in the people's faces straight away when they need it. If events happen, the content's out the next day. And I think that's important. Going back to print, you don't have that option anymore. So being online now is obviously the way to go.
And of course, looking at the instant gratification aspect of being online is also a big factor for you guys. I'm sure you're at an event, and you might be even at the event yourself. You can almost basically do it from your phone there and then.
100%, it's non-stop. I mean, when we're at events, you're posting from your phone. Social media is massive, so it's just, you got to be in that space all the time and have that content out there.
Lockdown was an issue for everybody. It must have been pretty tough for you guys, I'm sure. But it did come up with a couple of new ideas and thinking out of the box, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, lockdown wasn't great in the beginning. We didn't know what to expect, especially on our event side, which we'll touch on just now. A lot of our big events had to be cancelled. But being online and having the content there going out daily, helped grow our readership during lockdown. So it actually worked out very well. We also came up with some unique ideas to put some online events together, some video projects and things like that. So it was actually really cool for us business-wise. So it worked out fine.
Involvement with sponsors is pretty good, I'm sure, and it's pretty much right up there in terms of getting the bills paid. How do you go about that? What's the knock on the door?
Yeah, it's a knock on the door, a lot of cold calling, but at the same time, we've been around for so long and we've grown ourselves into a brand that, core brands know about. So for them not to be in the space where LW is, doesn't make sense for them. So as long as we've got those numbers and the people reading and going onto the site and onto our socials all the time, the sponsors are happy. So it kind of ties in well with all of that.
Okay, so that's basically how LW works. And of course, the cool thing with LW Mag is that it is online like we are here on ESA. And I think the other big aspect of that is that you're playing in a field where literally the guy who's walking down the street can get a notification from you saying, LW Mag has just posted something and what's happening? And you're literally on your phone going, oh my goodness, Ryan's at this, or you're doing something good. I think it's the future of media, there's no doubt about it. And the guys that are sticking with the old school print, yes, there's a couple of guys who want those old school magazines on their tables, etc., etc. But I think you guys must be giving newspapers a massive run for their money.
Yeah, I suppose in a way we are. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, it's a time thing. So, if you're still in print, whatever articles you have coming out, people have seen and read and gone through it already. So it's just important to have that content out there straight away. As soon as it happens, people want to see what's happening. I want to know results. I want to see videos. I want to see the photos. And we're there to accommodate that. And they've grown with it as it's gone along.
You've got other aspects that you're involved in. You spoke about the lifestyle side of things and the music side of things. Take us through a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, the core focus has always been extreme sports. So every extreme sport you can think of, we cover. Obviously, mainly local stuff. But we tied it in with the lifestyle aspect and the music aspect. So, you know, we interview a lot of artists, feature music videos, and the lifestyle side comes into different events that are happening, parties, things like that. And it all ties into that whole lifestyle. You know, if anyone involved in extreme sports, you know, plays games, goes to music festivals, goes to different events. So we cover that whole spectrum.
It's amazing. That's exactly what we're going to be catching up with about those events in a few minutes' time. Stay tuned with us as we move on to the next part. We've got, of course, where things go a little bit wrong. Let's have a look at the fall-through aspect of ESA this week here on episode 2. Well, you can see from that last clip, G. Atherton was trying to catch a lift on the helicopter as he launched off the side of the mountains in Scotland there. Definitely not going right. But of course, now what we're looking at is what's going to be coming up in the very near future. Let's go and see what's happening with upcoming events. You're probably going to hear it here for the very first time, but Monster Jam makes its way back to South African shores in 2023. We're giving you an up-close and exclusive that we're going to be able to give you. And of course, the exclusive side of things is that McDonald's, on their McDonald's app, have got some amazing opportunities for guys to get early tickets to Monster Jam 2023. You get to see the Gravedigger, you get to see El Toro Loco, Megalodon will be here, and for the very first time, the Earthshaker will be in South Africa and on South African shores. It'll all be linked in, courtesy of Showtime Management, and of course with Felt Entertainment bringing it out here to South Africa. McDonald's being the big sponsor, Supersport are in the house as well. We can't wait to bring you all that action from Monster Jam 2023. And if you want to get those tickets, make sure you get onto the McDonald's app and check them out. Otherwise, you can get general public tickets going on sale from the 5th of July 2022. Showtime.co.za or Ticketmaster.co.za is where you need to go to check out exactly what's happening with the Monster Jam 2023. We'll be back after this with more action and a little bit more interview from Ryan van der Spuy. So we're back here with Ryan van der Spuy from LW Mag, and it's fantastic to have him in the studio talking about what was happening in terms of the build-up to what was locally whipped into LW Mag. We're now going to be chatting to you about the future plans. And of course, you've got some massive ones coming up for this year. So let's start things out with one of my favorites, King of the Whip.
Yeah, so being in the media space and being a media partner for a lot of events kind of evolved us into a space where we started doing our own events. So we've got quite a roster of events happening. Like you mentioned, King of the Whip is a big one. It was supposed to take place in Monte Casino for the first time in 2020, and obviously lockdown came and put everything on hold. So that's back. That's coming on the 19th of November at Monte Casino. So working on that effortlessly, I would say.
Tirelessly as well.
Tirelessly, yeah, very tirelessly. So I mean, we're in a good space. We were so close to having it happen in 2020 that, you know, a lot of it, the work's already been done. It's just now plugging it back in, announcing ticket sales, and all that will be coming soon. And along with that, I mean, we've got a BMX event called Park Lines, which happened a month ago. We've got a skate event called Street Lines, which is coming in October, and we've got our snowboarding event called Winter Whip, which is happening in 3 weeks' time, end of July.
Yeah, man, so you're a busy man.
busy, yeah.
It sounds like me, you're never at home.
Exactly.
But I think that's part and parcel of the lifestyle that you're involved with. You know, you've brought a brand on with LW Mag, and the brand is growing non-stop. You've spoken about the viewership and your readership just getting bigger and better. So I think when you get out there and you seem to be marketing and promoting the events and the sports that people love so much, it just grows the brand instantaneously.
Yeah, I think being in that media space, you understand what events need behind them, as as well as the sponsors and what they want from events. So we've learned over the years on what we need to do in terms of promoting events, making sure they're big, successful, and get the media exposure that they deserve. And that obviously falls onto LW Mag, the event itself, and the sponsors involved.
A big corporate, of course, involved with this one will be Monte Casino, and of course that's a great venue to have for King of the Whip. What's the plans in terms of getting the crowds in there?
So luckily enough, we still got over 1,500 tickets sold for that event, with it obviously almost happening in 2020. Ticket sales will be going live soon. There'll be massive promotions going out through Monte Casino with Monster Energy, one of the title sponsors. A lot of media presentation beforehand and PR rollouts. So there'll be a lot happening, a lot of ticket giveaways and things like that happening. So people just keep a lookout and see what happens.
Okay, here we're going to ask Ryan a little bit of a question as well to say, listen, are there any international athletes coming out for this one?
So, yes, we haven't confirmed who and what yet. We did have 5 international athletes booked for the 2021. We are chatting to all of those riders again. Obviously, just need to see how the dates work with them and what they're doing overseas. Yeah. But yeah, there will be. I can't give any names just yet, but keep a lookout. There will be some good.
I did see our good friend Michael Koch having a little bit of a go as well, saying, listen, he'd like to make a comeback from the golfing side of things.
If you can get him back, that'll be awesome. I don't know. He's doing the Sunshine Tour at the moment. I mean, a guy that's come from motocross and a crazy animal that he is, and now playing golf professionally. So I don't know. We'll see if we can twist his arm.
Maybe we can do a little bit of a 4 or so, maybe in the sprinkler again. Other plans for the future, of course, not only 2022, but 2023, anything big happening?
Yeah, so I mean, like I mentioned just now, we just come off the Parklines BMX tournament. That was massive. So it's probably the biggest local BMX event in recent history. We had over 50 riders competing.
Wow.
We had 2 international athletes come out for that. We had the first female athlete competing in a BMX event and landing the first backflip in South Africa, which was awesome. So there's a lot of concentration on that, as well as Street Lines, which is a sister event, but the skate version. Reason being is both those events made the debut, both those disciplines made the debut in Olympics last year. So our goal is to get those 2 events, to not only promote and grow the sport, but get to a place where they possibly could be a South African Olympic qualifier events. So working on that now.
Wow, that's huge, eh? I mean, we chatted to the Silver Surfer from George and spoke about how big the Olympics has come for surfing. And of course, coming from BMX, both of us, it'd be awesome to see it grow even bigger and better in terms of that Olympic, notch that it's reached. Skating was always a big fan of skateboarding as well, and it's great to have that as part of it. But what is entailed in trying to get that Olympic, backing behind it and a qualifying event?
We need to get the federations involved. So on the BMX side, we need to get Cycling South Africa involved, ultimately UCI as well. So we need to get it registered, need to have the sports recognized in South Africa, which theoretically is not difficult. We just need to get it there, and then we can actually work with the UCI in terms of the regulations around an event and what needs to happen in terms of riders coming to compete and earning points to ultimately qualify for Olympics. So that's something we'll be working on. And if we get that right, and we will, having events like that to also encourage international riders to come out to the event to earn points for Olympics. So it will just grow the whole scene, the event itself, and the sport in the country massively.
I think that's exactly what happens in most of the extreme sports. If you can't qualify in your own country, you're always going to find an event where you can try and qualify for your country, but at another event. So well done.
Thank you.
From our side, I've got to say a massive hats off to you. A big risk in 2010. It's paid off, I'm sure, great dividend. And we wish you all the future success. And please keep us in mind with any of the events that you come to. We'd love to be there. And of course, if there's international athletes there, of course, it would be awesome to see them flying their flags high here in a South African event.
It was always a goal. So and just keep an eye out on lwmag.co.za or our socials. Everything will be going up on there. All the teasers, all the releases or reveals of international riders and so on, that will all be up.
Fantastic. Well, that's Ryan van der Spuy from LW Mag giving us all the insight as to what's going to be happening with big events, as well as what's happening socially and online with LW Mag. It's fantastic to have him here, and thanks very much for your time, Ryan. We now move on to what to watch, and of course that's important. We've just found out what to watch in terms of LW Mag's and events side of things. Let's see what's coming up in the very near future. What to watch this week, we're going to rewind slightly to the 2nd of June 2019. And it was when Red Bull hit the streets of the mother city in Cape Town. It was fantastic to hear the noise. There's nothing like a Formula One car up close and personal. And that's exactly what Red Bull was trying to do in promoting what has now become the sort of talk of the town in social media and on all media platforms. Will Formula One be coming back to South Africa? That's the big key at this stage. And even yesterday, the Telegraph in the Netherlands were putting out the fact that South Africa have replaced both Spa-Francorchamps and Paul Ricard on the Formula One calendar for 2023. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not that's going to come to fruition. There's a lot of work still to be done at Kyalami and by all the powers that be that are looking to bring it into the country. But I can't wait to see Formula One back in South Africa. Let's go and have a look and see what happened with Red Bull in the mother city in 2019.
The power, the energy, the excitement. When you get to see the car, to hear the raw energy that a Grand Prix car can produce. Your senses are heightened. I'm right in the heart of it, but I'm strapped to it. They're not there cheering for me, they're there for Formula One, for the car, for the Red Bull Racing as a team. It's a humble moment for me. This is a way of us spreading the love and really sort of putting our arms around the local country and cities and saying, hey, we're Formula One, we want to invite you to come and support us.
Having worked with DC on that event and getting to be part and parcel of it was absolutely amazing. And I cannot wait to see whether or not we're going to see Formula One back here in full force at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. Hold thumbs, because I certainly am. We're going to move on to our turnout now. And of course, the turnout is where the athletes might just get it right. Let's go and have a look at the turnout. Someone needs to chat to Nick Jacobson, because you're not supposed to be playing around with a kiteboard on land. It's all about the sea. But you can see that here on the extreme sports side of things, these guys go all out to make sure that they get the best. And we want to see some of your best as well. Remember, on both our turnout and fall through videos, make sure you tag us on those videos so we can make you famous here on ESA. So basically that brings us to the end of the show. We hope you've enjoyed all the action here this week, and of course we've got more action coming up next week on episode 3. We're into season 3, can you believe it? A massive thanks to our good friend Ryan van der Spuy from LW Mag for joining us in studio today. And we look forward to more action from the extreme sport world and all around the world with the extreme sports here on Extreme Sport Action. Check out our social media handles, and don't forget to catch us every Friday night on Vision View TV. From my side, Greg Maloney, the voice of choice. Take care then. Bye-bye now.